The New World Order, Bishop Grady, letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News report, man. A lot of people are starting to die from this coronavirus in the United States. U.S. has actually officially become the epicenter of this shit. Mind you, it initially started in China, in Wuhan, China, in the Hubei province, and there have been Italy right now is like running rampant, of course. But nevertheless, though, now the U.S. leads in cases with 85,000 cases, over 1,300 deaths, and these numbers are believed to be a lot higher due to the fact that there aren't enough tests, which is inexcusable for certain hotspots in the country. These are global travel hubs. Nevertheless, in New York, you had 84 new deaths from the coronavirus yesterday, and right now, hospitals, the hospitalization surged by 40%. You even have Columbia and NYU taking their medical schools students and allowing them to graduate early so they can fight off this virus that's really shaking shit up, man. Green War and graduation. The World Order, Bishop Grady, letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News report. So you have cities across the U.S. like New York City. Mayor Bill de Blasio is requesting an additional 15,000 ventilators from the federal government, saying that the half of the 30,000 they're supposed to get is going to start getting used to keep critically ill patients breathing. So there's a lot of fear amongst the nurses. They feel like they're going to start having to choose between life and death. They're using splitters to actually have 2 people hooked up to a ventilator. Nevertheless, Trump doesn't even believe that they really need that much. Talking shit on Fox News, like, well, major hospitals only got 2 ventilators. Now we're going to need 30,000. Like, he a dumbass. Nevertheless, people want him to use the Defense Production Act to actually force companies to make some of these ventilators and other equipment. But he said he has the promise of some business leaders to actually create them on their own. So I don't know if that's worth waiting, but nevertheless, they even had a contract for 80,000 ventilators with General Motors and Ventec Life Systems, but they seem to be backing out because of the $1 billion price tag, which is like this much of that bailout package, so that sucks. But nevertheless, I think I saw an update that might have said that they went through with the deal with GM. We'll see how this turns out, though. I'll keep y'all updated. Green War and graduation. The New World Order, Bishop Grady, letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News report. Make sure you check out my petition, Get Donald Trump off Twitter. Find the same.org link in the video description if you're watching this on YouTube, or in my Instagram account, GradyGrant716, link in the bio. It'll lead you to knowing exactly why you should be removed from the platform for violating Twitter policies and spreading all this fucking misinformation, man. This shit gotta stop. Now, there was an article released by Politico. They found that there's actually a National Security Council playbook, 69 pages long, on how to deal with a global pandemic, and the White House failed to follow like hundreds of guidelines regarding this. So either they neglected it, either they underestimated it and this shit caught us lacking, or they neglected it on purpose. You know what I'm saying? Also, ProPublica, another publication, they actually found that the Center for Disease Control and Prevention actually did not have they underestimated it, and they noticed through internal emails. So but yeah, man, the White House actually squandered 2 months of time that should have been used for like prepping for tests and getting other medical equipment to handle this, bro. Green War and graduation. News report of the New World Order, Bishop Grady, letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News report. So there's cases building up in the U.S. in certain hotspots like Louisiana. They saw a surge yesterday that has them at an infection rate that rivals anywhere in the world. They up to 2,300 coronavirus COVID-19 cases. Over in and you have Governor John Bel Edwards. He's calling for like medical students and students in general, and like former medical workers, retirees, to actually volunteer to help with the wave that's coming of coronavirus infections. Over in Detroit, you have in Wayne County in Michigan that actually has 1,400 cases, but Detroit is just looking like a hot spot, as well as Chicago. The Chicago mayor, Lori Lightfoot, she actually has shut down Lakefront Trail and Riverwalk due to how the virus has been spreading over there. So 1,400 cases, confirmed cases, and obviously we know there could be more if there was more testing done. We'll see how this all turns out, man. Green War and graduation. Y'all think? The New World Order, Bishop Grady, letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News report. Had to bring it indoors, but just letting y'all know that $2.2 trillion economic stimulus package that Senate had actually approved of yesterday. So the House of Representatives actually voted on it today. They voted yes. It wasn't unanimous like the Senate voting yesterday, where everybody literally who voted voted for the bill, but nevertheless, this was it was an overwhelming support for the bill, and Trump went ahead and signed it into law. So Americans should expect some $1,200 checks on top of $500 per child that they have. You have so that's $1,200 per adult, $500 per child. You should also expect unemployment benefits up to 4 months, covered up to 100%, up to $75K a year. But we should also expect there being $500 billion of loan guarantees to some U.S. corporations. This is pretty much a bailout like the one that Bush and Obama had, but except we get some cash out of it as well. So we'll see how this turns out, because this could still end up looking like a corporate takeover. Green War, congratulations. Reporter of the New World, the Bishop Grady, letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News report. So in New York, the Office of Refugee and Resettlement actually have 3 unaccompanied minors that are there that have tested positive for having coronavirus, that COVID-19, that coronavirus disease, SARS-CoV-2. Now this comes as there's like 5 staff members and 1 contractor for the ORR that actually have also tested positive. They are still not going to release the kids. They're not going to do so until the quarantine that they have is actually lifted. So we'll see how that turns out. There's a 52-year-old Guatemalan migrant that's actually in the Essex County Detention Center in Newark, New Jersey. He's tested positive for having that Rona. And in Louisiana, you have the Richwood Detention Center that they're actually having a hunger strike demanding their release. Same thing with 350 migrants that are actually in asylum seekers, that are actually in the Stewart Detention Center in Georgia, also demanding their release and calling out medical neglect and dealing with this Rona. Green War and graduating. Reporter of the New World, the Bishop Grady, letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News report. As y'all already know, I've been telling y'all over the past couple weeks, coronavirus, COVID-19 is really kicking up dust in Europe. Over in Italy, they had in the past 24 hours, they had 662 deaths due to the coronavirus disease spread, bringing their death toll to over 8,200, which is more than double what the number was in China as far as people who died from having that coronavirus disease. Over in Spain, also another country on nationwide lockdown, they had 769 people die within the last 24 hours due to the virus. Over in Britain, the British Prime Minister Boris Johnson actually announced on a video that showed on Twitter that he had tested positive for having COVID-19, so he's going to be in self-isolation. Ireland actually decided to nationalize their healthcare system in order to, until this pandemic is subsided. Green War and graduation. Reporter of the New World, the Bishop Grady, letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News report. So over in China, they have actually banned almost all travel of foreigners into the country in order to prevent like a second wave of this coronavirus spread. I told y'all yesterday how they had actually in the Hubei province had lifted the lockdown on most of those cities, definitely except Wuhan, China, where like that's actually the true epicenter of this COVID-19. Nevertheless, over in Japan, this is a place with 1,400 confirmed cases. The number is believed to be a lot higher. It's believed to be higher, period. But nevertheless, there are like protests going on against the Prime Minister Shinzo Abe over his refusal to cause a lockdown, citing some like severe economic results coming from that. So there's bars and restaurants that remain open in Tokyo, for example, which is already overcrowded and has seen a spike in cases. Green War and graduation. Reporter of the New World, the Bishop Grady, letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News report. So over in Africa, you have in Ethiopia, they actually released 4,000 prisoners in order to basically protect more people from the coronavirus, or basically to curb the spread of COVID-19 over there. You actually have the government that also, people are also calling on the government to lift these internet shutdowns that they have in certain parts of Ethiopia that they've actually enacted in order to battle the Oromo separatist group. So these blackouts have kept like millions of Ethiopians from even finding out about like the pandemic and knowing what's going on. So Over in South Africa, a place that actually has like 900 confirmed cases now and 2 COVID-19 deaths. As today actually started their 3-week long nationwide lockdown. And then over in Egypt, Ruth Michelson, a journalist for The Guardian, has actually been expelled from the country because she reported that the number of coronavirus cases disease is higher than what's been reported. Green War and graduation. The New World Order Bishop Grady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News report. So over in Brazil, you have the president Jair Bolsonaro that has actually classified churches as like essential services. You know, I guess bending to the will of like the evangelical leaders out there. But at the end of the day, why would somebody who leads the church is supposed to be spiritually in tune want to have a bunch of people in a crowded area in the church? Nevertheless, they've been named as exempt from the lockdown as more places are locking down. Brazil though has their number of cases of coronavirus disease have actually jumped to 3,000, to being over 3,000 in this past week. You over in also in Mexico, you have them suspending all asylum seeking activity and basically, you know, promoting social distancing and whatnot. They have a total of 600 cases in the country, but they don't have a lot of tests. Green War and graduation. The New World Order Bishop Grady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News report. So you see how these crooked government motherfuckers is trying to like pull wool over people's eyes, you know what I'm saying? Trying to pull a fast one when they know everybody is worried about this coronavirus disease pandemic. You already saw how the Department of Justice William Barr, the Attorney General, how they were trying to suspend constitutional rights during this pandemic. You know what I mean? Trying to like cut court short and trying to be able to detain people indefinitely without trial. Well, over in the EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency has actually suspended environmental laws that would require these companies to like have to worry about pollution, to have to like report what their emissions are, and to be subject to monitoring. So at the moment, like as long as it's related to the virus or spread, they can always a company can justify not having to abide by any pollution rules. And that's where we at, y'all. They tried to pull a fast one, man. Andrew Wheeler is the head of the EPA right now. You know what I mean? And that's what happens when you have big oil lobbyists that actually come into play and fulfill these governmental positions. All these conflicts of interest, man. And y'all let that shit rock. Green War and graduation. For the New World Order Bishop Grady let y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News report. So for those who don't know, Byron Allen, this is a black man, former comedian, owner of the Weather Channel, and a bunch of other television networks. He actually had lost a Supreme Court lawsuit this past Monday that basically makes it now harder for one of our civil rights acts to be enacted, and for people to file discrimination and racial bias lawsuits against companies in the United States. They threw out basically a lower court ruling that basically gave the green light for Byron Allen to sue Comcast for $20 billion and for them basically being racially biased and not willing to carry TV programming that was black owned. So Byron Allen, it looks like he might have put us in a position that in a position that kind of could hurt us in the long run. Was it selfish or was it careless? I don't know, but the fight was lost in the court. Supreme Court ruling. What happens after that? Green War and graduation. The New World Order Bishop Grady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News report. Now, this is actually big shit right now, but the Trump administration, Attorney General William Barr, he actually laid out basically the charges that they have brought against Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro, accusing him and his Socialist United for Venezuela party of collaborating with the Colombia's FARC rebel group, dissidents from this group,
and basically conspiring to like flood the United States with cocaine, and furthermore use the drug trade as a weapon against the United States. So the State Department is offering $15 million to anyone with any information that can lead to the arrest of Nicolas Maduro. He's being charged with narco terrorism and with international cocaine trafficking. So that's a big down. We were on graduation.